Let's discuss the traditional knowledge systems and how it can be applied or adapted for cultural heritage management today. To start with, I would like to mention three key concepts: knowledge, knowledge systems, and ecosystem of knowledge systems. We all know knowledge, but knowledge system is something that produces a certain knowledge. It also is a system which applies the knowledge, and therefore it's a dynamic process. So knowledge is a product, but the knowledge systems is a process. What I would like to argue is, in a given society, there is not just one single knowledge. In fact, there are multiple knowledges, multiple kinds of knowledges, and therefore there are multiple knowledge systems. And what we might have is, say, for example, in a traditional system or a modern system, is there might be multiple knowledge systems working together as a network, as an ecosystem. And so I would like to draw our interest to ecosystem of knowledge systems. Now, this is the premises within which I would like to work towards a framework which should allow us to think about how far a certain traditional knowledge system is applicable or adaptable in a cultural heritage management today. Now, another important thing for us to understand is these knowledge systems are owned, operated by people in a given context. And so this is very participatory, this is community driven, but also a dynamic process. I think that is very important for heritage management system. Now, how do we apply this framework? So basically the framework is very simple. What I have also proposed is the two aspects in any knowledge systems. There might be certain parts of the knowledge systems which we can consider as core system or the core knowledge systems, and there might be something called the peripheral knowledge systems. So the core knowledge systems is those elements, those parts of knowledge processes which are primarily responsible for creating a heritage in the context of cultural heritage. The cultural heritage related traditional knowledge systems are those which are core, which are primarily responsible for creating the heritage, maintaining the heritage. And there might be another set of knowledge systems which might not be as responsible as the core, but they also have relation, they also have some responsibilities. And those knowledge systems I would like to consider as peripheral knowledge systems. Now, the same concept of core and peripheral knowledge systems, I would also like to propose that we need to apply to the modern knowledge systems. Now, the modern knowledge systems could be our modern governance systems, the institutional systems, legal systems, whatever we have in the contemporary society. Now, when we try to think how do we examine the adaptability and applicability of traditional knowledge systems, in fact, what I propose we will be doing is looking at these two systems parallel, the traditional system and the modern system. Just a disclaimer here, by hinting towards these two parallel systems, I'm not suggesting a dichotomy here. This is just for our ease of reference while we are analyzing the knowledge systems that are available in a society. Now, when we do that, as I have discussed in the given reading, I have used the example of Guti system in Kathmandu Valley to demonstrate my proposed framework. Now, a few words on the Guti system. Guti system is a traditional system in the Newar communities in Kathmandu Valley. Now, Guti is a community organization, it's a traditional institution, but Guti is also a set of traditions. Guti is also a set of community, like a neighborhood block and things like that. So it has multiple aspects involved in its conceptualization, but it is also in some ways can be seen as parallel to many of the contemporary legal institutions and systems. And this is the concept that I have used to analyze the applicability and adaptability of Guti systems in today's heritage management in the Kathmandu Valley. Now, in doing so, as you have seen in the diagrams in the slide here and also in the reading, is that I looked at Guti traditions and Guti resources as the two aspects that I'm analyzing in this example. And similarly, from the modern knowledge systems, I took up the government system, the government policies and the tools, institutions as the part of the modern knowledge systems. So what I'm looking at is government policies and government tools. Now, when I put this into my proposed framework, I have identified a few of Guti traditions which are probably similar to some of the government policies, some of the government tools. Similarly, few of the Guti resources might be similar to government policies or government tools, and those similar things are easily applicable because it resonates very well with today's government system also. And so those can be considered as the easily applicable set of things. Similarly, there might be certain concepts which might not be compatible between these two systems, and those we might say these needs to be adapted. This cannot be directly applied. We have to interpret this, we have to adjust somewhere, and then make sure that these work together. That's the idea. And this is how this framework recognizes certain elements from the Guti systems as applicable and some as adaptable. Now when we combine all of this together, then the conclusion, as I demonstrated in the framework diagrams, is that we will be able to recognize how far the Guti is compatible to the current government system. And since there are many elements which are compatible, I make the argument that Guti system is very applicable traditional knowledge systems today. Of course, there are certain parts of Guti system which are not directly applicable, and therefore I propose that those need to be adapted. Now, how and how far one can adapt depends on how far the modern needs are satisfied by that particular components or the knowledge within that knowledge systems. And this is how the framework is supposed to work. So I hope this is helpful, and I'm not suggesting that this is an officially endorsed framework. This is rather a broader open framework which I invite you to also sort of look at it and see how far it is applicable. You can tweak it, and if you use a similar concept to the cases that you have selected to discuss, I hope this will make more sense, and hopefully we can also revise the framework, improve the framework, and all that. That will be the focus of our discussion during our live tutorial. So I hope this brief introductory lecture is helpful, and I'll see you in the live tutorial. Thank you very much.